Go.
Um, Good day, everyone. We are Group 1, and today we will be reporting about market integration and international financial institutions. So, for the introduction, globalization connects countries economically, trade, investment, and finance cross borders. Market integration increases economic interdependence, international financial institutions, and support global stability. So, globalization means countries around the world are more connected now. Like they trade products, invest money, and do business with each other even if they are far away. And because of that, these markets become more connected and countries start to depend on each other economically. So what is market integration? So it is a process where national markets become interconnected, involves trade, capital movements, and financial systems, leads to price convergence and global competition. So basically, it is the process where markets from different countries become connected with each other. Like they trade products, move money or capital, and their financial system starts to interact. And because of this, connection and prices of goods in different countries can become almost the same. And businesses start competing globally, not just within their own countries. So there are three types of market integration. First, we have the trade integration or reduction of tariffs and trade barriers. So meaning, gi-reduce ang tax o restrictions sa mga baligya and goods para mas dali ang trade sa mga countries. So for example, if one country sells rice to another, so mas less ang tax means cheaper and easier to trade. So for the second, we have the financial integration or free flow of capital and investment. So financial integration means ang money and investment can move freely between countries nga walay daghang restrictions. And for example, a company from Japan can invest money and open a business in another country. And lastly, we have the economic integration, regional cooperation, such as European Union, Association of Southeast Asian Nation. So meaning, it work closely together para ang mga countries mo strengthen ang ilang economy na together with their agreements of cooperation. So European Union and Association of Southeast Asian. So this organization helps countries to cooperate in trade, economy, and policies.
Advantages of market integration, first is we have increase increased foreign investments. So increased foreign investment, cross borders barriers encourage global companies to invest in new markets. So for example is the South Korean car maker Hyundai building a manufacturing plant in the Philippines to serve Southeast Asian markets under the Asian Free Trade Area. And next we have the access to larger markets. So access to larger markets is local businesses that can reach customers beyond their borders. So for example is the Filipino coffee producers selling their products in the Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand through regional trade agreements. Next is the economic growth. So economic growth, expanded trade and investment, boost production, jobs, and GDP. So for example, economic growth is the Vietnam's economic growing rapidly after integrating into global supply. Next is the technology transfer. So, foreign firms bring advanced tools and expertise for the technology transfer. So, for example, is Japanese electronics companies sharing their semiconductor manufacturing techniques with partners in Indonesia. Next is more customer choices. People gain access to international goods at competitive prices. So, for example, is Indian species. So, Australian dairy and Mexican snacks being widely available in supermarket across like the Philippines. And for the disadvantages of market integration, we have spread of global beneficial, financial crisis, interconnected markets means economic problems in one region quickly spread worldwide. So for example, in 2008, US Supreme mortgage crisis triggered recessions across Europe, Asia, and Latin America as banks and business globally were linked to US financial system. So second is harm to local industries. Smaller domestic businesses often struggle to compete with larger, more efficient foreign companies. So for example is local textile manufacturers in the Philippines face declining sales after cheaper imported fabrics from China, they entered the market under trade liberalization. Next is economic dependency. So countries may rely too heavy on exports to or investment from large economies, making them vulnerable to external changes. For example of that is many nations depend on heavily on tourism from US and Europe. Travel restriction during the COVID-19 pandemic crippled their economies kay ang mga flights pag COVID is kanang nakuan sila na cancels because tungod sa COVID-19. So next is income inequality. So income inequality growth benefits often concentrate in urban or wealthy groups, leaving rural and low-income communities behind. So for example, in India, while tech hubs like Bangalore boomed from global integration, rural farming regions saw little improvement in living standards. So, what are international financial institutions or IFIs? So, organizations that provide financial support and policy guidance, promote global economic stability, and help developing countries. So think of IFI as global economic helpers. They are big organizations that work across countries to keep the world money system stable and help poorer nations grow. So IFI or International Financial Institution, they do in plain terms like they give money and advice. They lend funds to countries that need kanang mga nag-need and mo share sila og tips on how to manage their economies better. They keep things steady, kanang help sila to prevent or to fix financial problems that could spread from one country to another. And they support developing nations. They focus on helping countries with less money build roads, schools, hospitals, and other important things. So, for example, let's say a small country in Africa faces a severe drought that hurts its farms and makes food prices shoot up. So the government doesn't have enough money to help farmers or keep food affordable for people. So ang IFI, like World Bank, kay mauna sila ang most tip end. They lend the countries money to buy seeds and build irrigation system for farms. They advise the government on how to make sure food gets to kanang mga nag-need og foods and kanang mga nag-need jud kaayo. They advise the government on how to make sure na they help set up programs to protect people from future droughts. Next. Next is International Monetary Fund or IMF. So International Monetary Fund established in 1994. Excuse me. They promotes monetary stability, provides emergency loans, monitors global economy. So the IMF is a global group that started in year 1944 that acts like a financial lifeguard and watchdog for countries worldwide. So ang IMF kay they keep money system stable so the currencies don't crash or jump around too much. And they give emergency cash to countries in big financial trouble. Kanang mga countries nga nag trouble financially, mo help sila ana, and it keeps an eye on how economies everywhere are doing. So for example is in year 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit hard, kan daghan og mga countries like Africa, so their economy shrink, like kanang ni down gyud sila, and nag-struggle sila to pay for medical supplies and keep their money stable. So ang IMF kay mo step in sila kay step in sila with emergency loans to help those nations nga kanang ni-shrink na. So for instance, it gave funds to support its health system and stabilize its currency. So prices didn't spiral out of control for things like food and fuel. Next is the Asian Development Bank or ADB. So Asian Development Bank established in 1966. Headquarters like Manila, Philippines, promotes development in Asia funds, poverty reduction and climate programs. So Asian Development Bank or ADB is a regional organization that started in 1966 and its main office right here in Manila, Philippines. Think of ADB as a growth partner for Asia. So ADB provides money and support to make countries in the region better off, focusing on building up communities, cutting poverty, and tackling climate change. So for example, in the Philippines, the ADB funded a project to build better roads and water system in rural areas of Cebu. Before this, many villages had dirty roads and kanang mga hugaw nga mga dalan, kanang panahon sa tig-ulan kay kanang hugaw gani, and making it hard for the farmers to sell their kanang mga crops and kids to get school if kanang lisod ang agianan. So with the new roads and reliable water supply of farmers can now transport their produce to markets easily. And families have clean water to use every day, helping lift people out of poverty and improve their lives. That's all from me. And the next reporter.
Okay, so for World Trade Organization or WTO, so World Trade Organization regulates global trade, settles trade disputes, and promote trade agreements. So, for example, like ang WTO, if sa sports pa na siya, mura sila may referee or committee. Therefore, they create the rules so that countries follow the agreed trade rules. Aside from that, they settle trade disputes and also encourages free and fair trade. Next. Relationship between market integration and IFI's market integration. It increases global economic activity. IFIs regulate and stabilize financial system. They provide assistance during economic crisis and promote international cooperation. Next. So, let's say 4 challenges. First is financial contagion. So, from the word contagion, mura siya contagious. Mura siya sakit na magkuan ba? magtakod-takod. Like for example, if dunay usa ka country na ma-down nilang economic um naslay economic crisis, so doon na sa uban countries maapektuhan. So pagan-pagan siya. Next is sovereignty issues. So it's more likely that countries must follow international rules. Then the third one will be debt dependency. So dependency, it's like mura gini nagamit sila, like ang usa ka country nagamit sila usa ka credit card para ibayad sa ilang laing credit card. So usually it's a stressful situation. Then the last one is the unequal benefits among nations. So as we all know that not all countries benefit equally from globalization. Next. So conclusion, market integration connects economies globally, offers growth opportunities, also increases financial risk. IFIs ensure stability and support development. Final line suggestions that global cooperation is essential to ensure that economic integration benefits all nations. That's all. Apa ba? Next? Wala na. Ano?
That's
Okay.
Thank
Good slide.
you.